This episode and conversation is powered by Duce.
This is my first live IRL podcast, which is really exciting. So thank you guys. Yay! With the amazing Rich Paul. I get to have Rich Paul be my first guest. So I know some of you in the room are pretty familiar with the pod, but the intention of the podcast is always about, I really believe that the things that we learn in our lives and all the lessons in our lives really are given to us as gifts to learn more about ourselves, but also to inform and to lift people up. So Lucky Me is here now. LeBron wrote the opening. He said, "It is amazing to see my brother in full stride and for everyone else to see what I always saw in him. So when you flip through these pages and you witness the kind of pain that we felt growing up, don't flinch. Hard times make us stronger." That really kind of defined why you wrote this book. Is that right?
Yeah, I wanted to write something with intent. There's an education and learning through other people's experiences. And I know for a fact, everybody in this room, but just anywhere, you're going to align with a sentence, a chapter, a page. Something, if not several, for sure.
Like, what was the hardest and most, vulnerable part?
I think just getting to my mom and her struggles, that's tough. Mm-hmm. And I lost both my parents. But having to relive that time, because, when you're a kid, it's hard enough.
Yeah.
And I had built this wall because I would go 6-7 months without seeing my mom. Mm-hmm. And it was a thing where, that's tough. And it was a thing where I had to get used to, there's no such thing as parent-teacher conference or my games or be the mom to take the kids to practice, Christmas, birthday. That didn't exist for me. So.
Were you a sad kid?
No, I wasn't a sad kid because I wasn't really a kid. I was a hustler. I was
at 5. No, something that just sat with me. One of the takeaways is the way that you talk about your parents, right? Because there are a lot of struggles. There is dysfunction. There is drug addiction. You talk very openly and honestly about your mother struggling with crack addiction. But that is not the headline. The way it feels, you talk about them with so much admiration and love. And even though you didn't live with your dad because he had a whole other family.
Right.
I don't know. There could have been a lot of anger and sadness in the way you described them. And it was a lot of love and a lot of forgiveness, it feels like, from the way you tell the story.
Yeah. Well, my dad was my hero. So that was he was just such a man's man. I had such an admiration and respect for him. And he was present. Sometimes you could be present and not be present. But sometimes you can not necessarily be in the house, but still be present. But one thing my dad did too, for all of us, he sat us down and he said, "Your mom is sick." He didn't call her an addict. He said she has a sickness. And he said, "But despite that, don't ever let me catch you disrespecting her in any way." He meant this. But that never even crossed my mind. Mm-hmm. But it helped me put things in perspective that, it is a sickness. So when you talk about not having that anger, I didn't have that anger because I didn't feel like she was neglecting me because she wanted to neglect me. She was sick. And over time, when my mom did clean and I started traveling, the one thing that while I'm on the road, the only thing that was tough for me was back home, whether my mom relapsed or something, and just getting that call in the middle of the night. And so I wouldn't get much sleep on the road, especially when I first started, because you on the road and you trying to get clients or whatnot. And so I dealt with those type of things. Mm-hmm. And then there was as I started to plan out things a little bit more, we would take vacations and go to Vegas every year. She'd bring the grandkid. We did things and it was great. It was great. Yeah, time. When my mom passed away, I was at peace.
We think about, in real life in the podcast, we think about all the takeaways that we learn from other people's lives. And so hearing about your family life and your mom and your dad, how did you, because it's really amazing that there was no anger and that you used all those opportunities to learn from, become stronger, become better. Yeah. There was nothing that weighed you down, but most people have less traumatic circumstances, are weighed down by family trauma, by disappointment, whatever. There's all types of reasons or issues that we have in our families. What is the thing? Like, How do you do that? What is the thing that gets you, I don't know, that spares you from that and that makes you use it as fuel instead of something that could weigh you down?
I'm not really well, you know me, I'm not really a disappointed person. It's hard. I'm just like to have good energy.
Yeah.
I've never been like a
Not a complainer?
Sucker. No,
Yeah.
I don't complain about anything.
Ever?
Complaining for what? No,
Try it right now. Complain about something.
I can't. I don't know what to complain about.
Can you? Nothing? Really?
Outside of my new assistant, I'm saying, like, I complain about some of his mistakes sometimes, but he's getting better. He's getting better, guys.
Okay,
I don't want to. Don't be too hard on him, but like, I don't really complain about that either. I just, I just.
You even said he's getting better. It's a process. You're a positive guy.
Yeah. A lot of it also came from I didn't have nobody to complain to. My dad wasn't really nobody to complain to. He'd be like, boy, like, and then, my mom wasn't there. Who I'm going to really complain to. So I just built this over time. And then what has complaining ever actually solved?
That's funny because I was just about to ask you about this part in the book. You talk about what the streets taught you and that the streets taught you. You mentioned this earlier too. And you said this on 60 Minutes, that it taught you about people and characters. And so I was curious about what it taught you, like about character. And is there, I don't know, are there red flags in characters that you look for?
Major red flags.
Like what?
Mm-hmm. Insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
I think in our business at least, if someone is too focused on what's only in it for them, or again, going back to how you treat people, if you're not respecting people that are basically making your life easier, that's a character flaw. Mm-hmm. And by the way, the more successful you become, the better person you should become too. You got to work on that as well. Like, if you're going to be successful in everything. I just think that just because you get paid a lot of money and you are a top athlete, don't mean you get to be less of a person.
Yes.
And I think that oftentimes the people around a lot of the people that we do represent, they're so focused on what's in it for them that they paint a picture that becomes detrimental to somebody that they're supposed to love.
Don't you think people get addicted to winning too? They get addicted to success, so you become successful, your agency's doing well. Then it's like, how do we make it? There is like an addiction that comes with that to some extent. And some people, I think, then disregard, like you say, all the things that you care about, that you're trying to be better at.
Yeah, I've never sat in success at all. Because again, when you read the book, our neighborhood didn't allow us to get cocky. Because if you get cocky, then people start to notice you. And when people start to notice you, then they start to plot. Mm-hmm. It's a different dynamic. So I never came with that. Mm-hmm. It's just not in me. I mean, you may be mad at a leather jacket I got on or something. That's
you
your
be wearing
problem.
Some jackets.
That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, so someone else's perception is not my reality. So I can't worry about that.
Yeah.
But
the book, first of all, Lucky Me, which is inspired by this Jay-Z song, right?
My favorite Jay-Z.
What is the bar from there that makes it your favorite?
The hook is, the third verse is crazy. The bar, it's I don't know if it's a bar, one bar. The one where he goes, guys, he say niggas see me in the streets.
Sorry, Johnny, I love you, but
sorry, Johnny.
You're disrupting my energy right now. You gotta fall back, Johnny.
Johnny the legend.
Johnny, you're a legend, and I love you dearly. But you're not gonna come in here and fuck up my energy.
Johnny be inside your hoodie to get the right picture, though. I ain't gonna front. I rock.
All right,
look,
Johnny. Get the picture. Let me act like you saying something real. Could you just shed a tear?
But it was very important when he says, niggas see me in the streets and pretend to be friendly, but I know any type of success breeds envy. I know in the back of your mind you're conjuring ways to hem me, leave my friends in the circle, pouring out Henny. Like when you dissect that, but Jesus is heaven bound, so how I'm gonna receive anything y'all pour to the ground next time, throw it up, because ain't nothing changed, because even in my afterlife I sew it up. Don't grieve for me. You know, he talks about, and he says, my art remains like a dart from the speaker to your heart. Like, if you just listen to those bars, that was in, what was that, 97?
Mm-hmm.
We're in 2023. It still resonates. But the hook in itself is what really resonated. You know, I was told since I was 4 years old, everything that glitters ain't gold. And now that I've arrived, I see those truths unfold. Close my eyes and the world's so cold. Like, that's real. All that's not rapping. That is real life. And that's what the music used to teach us. So, but I was also being very sarcastic too with the title, because some idiots think like, you know, you just meet a guy in the airport and you build a company because you met somebody in the airport. It don't really work like that.
Yeah, I'm sure he's met a lot of friends over his life, right? Who don't have the company you have.
But I think you know, just managing the transitions of life, people have to understand that. To me, life is all about bad attempts. You know, you're not gonna hit a home run every time, but you're not even gonna get on base if you don't get an attempt. And I think people spend time making decisions for others that takes away their bad attempts. And so if I don't get an attempt at the plate, then how am I gonna ever get on base?
Mm-hmm. Do you credit LeBron for that?
No.
The attempt?
Yeah.
The
Oh,
attempt.
hell yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, he gave me an opportunity to get up to bat.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't try to hit a home run. By the way, I didn't even get a chance to bat. I was just happened to be on the team because he didn't have a role for me. I didn't have no role.
I know, it's crazy.
Right?
And he was cutting you a check too. He's paying you, right?
Yeah, but I didn't have a role, but it didn't stop me from playing a role. It didn't stop me because I knew who I was. I was, you know, and my dad used to always say to me, you're not going to always be the boss. Like, you got to understand, you're not going to always be the boss. And then when I played high school sports, I wasn't the best player on the team by far. But it didn't stop me from going to practice every day on time, giving an effort, helping my teammates get better. That didn't stop me. Because once we got out of that locker room, then I was a star player.
What's the one thing, the big thing? The big
sacrifice.
thing.
Like, everyone has to make a sacrifice in order for the team to win. Right? When the college scouts was coming, I didn't complain because they're not coming to. I know they're not coming to see me. I ain't played in 6 games. Shit. If they come to see me, then they don't have this job for long. You know. But at the end, but I'm also not afraid to say that, right? Because I know who I am. But ultimately, you got to know when to jump off that dream train, especially if that dream can never become a reality. There's a lot of kids chasing that dream of being the actual talent. And in the Black community, we spend so much time trying to be the talent that we never build anything.
A lot of this book, aside from the title and being inspired by this Jay-Z song, you talk about gambling a lot. Like, you're a gambler.
Born gambler.
You are a born gambler.
That was my first job.
Was a gambler.
Shooting dice, playing cards. If you have a deck of cards, I shuffle cards like I work at the Win.
If I knew that. If somebody was a real hustler, they would run to the store right now and get a deck of cards.
They would have them on them.
You would have them on. You would know that in advance.
I never went nowhere without my dice or deck of cards.
A deck of cards.
Ever.
So what is the key to good gambling? Is there one?
New Edition made the best song. You got to be able to stand the rain. They did. You got to be able to, because
you got to lose sometimes. It's part of the game.
Also, it's a mental thing. You know, sometimes you can sit at a card table and every person at that table would be winning in some point during the card game. It's just a matter of when you're winning and when the game actually ends to determine the actual winner.
Yeah.
But it's a mindset. It's definitely a mental edge to it for sure.
The interesting thing I thought about, because you go into detail about this deal, your first big deal, which was Bledsoe, and you turned down the first big offer that came.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so he is, how old was he? 24, 23, 24? He has this athlete.
Bled wasn't that old yet.
He wasn't that old?
He came out when he was 19. That was his 4th year. Oh yeah, 23.
Okay, I read the book. He was like 23 years old.
Yeah.
I believe he says 24 in the book, but I'm not going to fact check him.
Well, 60 Minutes definitely fact checked, so it might be 24.
Okay, it was 24.
Yeah.
So he's 24 years old. He gets this big deal. He tells him the deal came in. He's excited. He's like, yes, you're 24. And what was it, $7 million a year? And
$7 million a year.
yes, let's take it. And you said, no, let's not take it. Let's gamble because I believe you should get what you're worth. And this is a gamble but now you're gambling
with someone
else's life.
But the thing about it is, if you're making it about the money, then it's a gamble. But if you're making it about your value and your worth, then it's not necessarily a gamble. But I can't get there, and he doesn't get there without trust. He trusts me, I trust him.
Anyway, that story worked out well for you.
It did.
That set off your business, right?
But that also, and people don't understand, that deal got the industry's attention in a lot of ways. And because of the perception of Eric Bledsoe, he was an 18th pick in the draft. He had really never been a starter. And one thing you leaving out, when I talked to him about risk, the only risk that I was really worried about was him getting injured. And he did.
And you're at home thinking what?
Fuck. That's the last thing I need. And he tore his meniscus. But I'm going to tell you something. We never panicked.
You tell a story about your child's mother, Candace, and you say that you didn't even know how to really be in a relationship or love. You said, like my dad took care of my mom. I thought if I took care of her, that was enough. I didn't understand that there's other work involved in a relationship. You didn't know how to be in a relationship.
No, we were definitely taught wrong as it pertains to how to love somebody, a significant other. And also, you got to remember, you can be in our community, not have a car, not have money, but date a lot of girls. And that was like a status thing. That was like having a car. That was like, oh, well, he don't got a car, but he got a lot of girls. Yeah. He can dress or whatever the case may be. And so that became a goal for people, which is actually working backwards because you're not necessarily committing. That's why people have commitment issues to this day, because you're not necessarily committing to the person. And then
you're giving them a little piece of you. Just enough.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. But also, there's an aspect of taking advantage of too, because what they lack, you now have in abundance because there's this fast-paced thing. So, the goals were so small back then. Hair done, your hair costs, you're getting a quick weave with a bang and the thing. And
not a bang.
They put it in the microwave or some shit, But that costs you $70, right?
Yeah.
You can pay for that 1,000 times.
And this is
over.
you thinking you're taking care of women. You're in relationships
new
with
shoes,
women.
boots when the snow comes.
When did you realize that was wrong, and who taught you that?
I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I'm still learning a lot. But no, growing up, it was a thing, and I've seen that throughout, and so we and then on top of not being vulnerable, well, it's hard to love somebody if you're not gonna be vulnerable.
Yeah,
you can't put this wall up every time. It's very difficult for you guys to really, because you can be compatible and not committed, and you can be, you can love somebody and not be in love with them. It's a big difference.
Yeah.
And so I had to feel my way through that. And and also there's a maturation process for a man as well, which men mature very late, if at all.
If ever. What's the age? The audience wants to know what's the age that they mature.
Depend on your experiences.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in terms of like holistically, it's tough. We deal with a lot. Y'all think y'all the only ones that deal with a lot. We deal with a lot too.
Oh, please. No,
I'm just saying.
I'm just kidding.
We do. No, but today, I sit in a different seat and having kids and, just.
And you're in a relationship.
Oh, I'm definitely in a relationship.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm saying being respectful.
Yeah, no,
it's just a different dynamic. But I'm also 42 years old.
And the vulnerability, how does that happen? Like, do you just one day think, okay, or does somebody have to bring that out of you? How does that happen?
No, gradually. That's something that
Are you good at that now? Or you're still struggling?
No, I'm a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm better with a lot of communication. I'm better with everything.
Hey,
I'm better for sure. Yeah. But I also had to be open-minded to become better.
The thing I'm curious about it, because in your relationship, it was shared, Adele shared with Oprah that this was a very easy one. And so I just wondered from your perspective, how do you get there? How do you get to be in a relationship that's easy?
Well, I think because I'm in a different space now.
Yeah.
Probably because she's in a different space as well. So I think the easiness comes through experience, though. If you've experienced enough hard things, then you can recognize easy. And
willing to change, right?
Yeah.
To some extent. She said in her Grammys that you told her not to cry. And I thought, why? What is with the crying? Is that something that you don't like to do? Why did you tell her not to cry when she won her Grammy?
No.
And are you a person that doesn't like to cry or doesn't like crying around you?
No, I actually cried last night.
You did? Why?
For the first time in like a long time.
Why?
For something that's
a happy
60 minutes. It was happy.
Oh.
Yeah. My friend said a speech and I got emotional for us, not for me. I got emotional
for you?
Yeah. I got emotional for just a journey. Just a journey. It was not like boo-hooing.
Okay.
But it was just more so like this that emotion was a good emotion.
Yeah.
Right. And that's another thing is I think it's good to be emotional sometimes.
Look at you crying in front of friends or publicly.
I know. Yeah, it was a small room.
It was a small room.
Yeah.
So crying publicly would be probably. You don't like to see that, and I don't know. Because you told her when she went up there, she said, "Rich told me not to cry if I won."
Oh no, that's because she just cry about everything. If you watch,
she cried.
Yeah. No.
That's really cute.
Yeah,
that's really cute.
It's like a cat walking. Like what the. What is all that about? That's why
sometimes we're more sensitive as women. Sometimes we're not more sensitive.
No.
With everything that you've accomplished and been through in life and overcame, it's a two-part question. Do you feel whole? And at what point in your life did you realize that you felt whole?
That's a one-part question. No, I don't feel whole. I feel I have a lot.
It's a great question, by the way.
It is a great question. I have so much. I haven't done a lot. In retrospect. So at least I don't feel that way. I feel like it's so much room for growth. But in terms of, do I feel whole? No, I don't necessarily feel whole. Do I feel inspired and driven still and still in the moment? Yeah. I'm still in the moment for sure.
When you grew up in the environment that you grew, correct? What did you do in order to stay motivated with all the chaos that was kind of going around in your life? Like, what was it that you was like, okay, I'm going to stay motivated and continue to thrive to success? What did you do?
I stayed true to myself. I didn't try to fit in for the sake of fitting in. I found people that we had like-minded interests, but also had some sense with the interests, just plain common sense. And, I had great friends growing up. I didn't really hang with like slap rock type of people. And it helped me. It really helped me not fully block out the noise because it's right in your face, but we also didn't do stuff just for the sake of doing it, if that makes sense. And so I was always into sports. I was always into fashion. I wasn't a real rah-rah type of person. I'm still not that. And so because of that, in a lot of ways, it saved me from situations. So, 100%, yeah. The same. By the way, the same people then is the same people now. At least the ones that's still here. Yeah.
Yeah, I always say that. I always say that to my kids too. The wrong people. We talk about that on the pod all the time. The wrong people in your circle could literally be the difference in your life, could literally ruin your life
and a lot of it comes with you knowing who you are too, and not feeling the need to have to impress somebody or gain somebody else's, I would say their validation. And if you look back on it, a lot of people look for people's validation and they're not even valid.
Yeah.
Especially
at this time, right?
It's a weird thing. I'm like, why would you be looking for their validation and their ticket isn't even punched?
Yeah.
Like, it's a weird dynamic, but whatever.
The IRL question. How happy are you?
Oh, yeah, we ask that every episode. Thank you for the reminder, my love.
Oh, how happy am I?
On a scale, no, we do this every episode. Usually it's my introduction to conversation because it opens up why your number is what it is. But on a scale of 1 to 10, because we use this as a check-in. Instead of, hey, man, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. Instead of that, you ask your friends or you ask people you care about on a scale of 1 to 10 today, right now.
Yeah.
How happy are you? I asked Evan that when I walked in today. You told me what today? You were a 7? 7.5 today? I said I was a 6 because I was annoyed. No, I'm definitely up to an 8.5, 9. Now, Rich has lifted me up today.
Yeah, I would say a 9.
Really?
Yeah. And the only reason why I'm not a 10 is because there's so many, I'm just a driven person. So I would sound crazy to myself if I'm like, then I would be whole. Like he said,
right.
I would be complete.
Never.
No, then I would be contradicting myself. So that lets you know I'm not contradicting myself. I would say a 9. I'm in a great space. Like
all day or just today or always?
All day. Like, I mean.
Yeah, always. Is that a constant state for you? 9? No. Can't be.
A 9 constant thing? Yeah. Like holistically?
Like every day you're at a 9 of I'm happy today at a 9?
At some point in time, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it might dip depending on what happens. Somebody, but I don't really let people interfere with my happiness. I worked too hard to get here. I did. Yeah. No,
9.
you can't.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, but don't get me wrong. I'm human. So if it could dip to it's not dipping past 6.
Okay.
But I'll play within that 6 to 9 space. Now, I do get pissed off at dumb shit.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that really, really pisses me off.
They could bring you down.
Everything else is pretty motivated, but like when you do, it's like, yeah.
Nyla,
I let myself do it.
Nyla, what are you today? A 10?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love that for you.
Yeah.
Shrooms? Or what would you do?
We got more questions?
I have a pickup? No, we could do it after.
Oh.
We could do like 2 more.
I'm gonna sign the books too. If
amazing.
Yeah.
Hi, sure. It's a small, intimate room. You don't need the mic.
Thank you for being here. My name is Candy Gomez. I want to know, what is your morning routine or some spiritual practices or tangible tactics that we can use to implement in our daily lives to just keep us sustaining that motivation and momentum to move forward?
Well, I have a new morning routine. This is a new morning routine, not my workout. I work out every morning. I get up very early though, like 5 in the morning. I get up at like 5. Yeah. Sometimes 4:30. Between 4:30 and 5, I get up. But I work out at 7:30. And then of late, I get in the sauna, as my friend Vivi would say, sauna. And then I get in the cold, which I just started doing that. I wouldn't necessarily say jump right into that. That's tough. I was at Vivi's house. I did 34 degrees, 228 in the sauna and 34 degrees in the cold. It was what it does.
Good Lord, man.
Huh?
Ouch.
No, I'm saying, yeah, that was crazy. It's not that at my house. It's not that cold like that, but that was that was crazy. But I did it though, and I didn't think I was going to do it, but it just tells you how strong the mind is. And by the third time because we did this 3 times, hot, cold, hot. By the 3rd time, I was putting my whole face in it at 34 degrees. So that was really, but I felt amazing. So I kept doing it. So I do that. And then after that is Zoom Nation. After that is just
not Zoom Nation.
Yeah, everything is a damn Zoom for sure. Yeah. In a good way. And we have a lot of internal meetings and you have.
I was going to ask you something about what she said about that, because you talk about discipline a lot in the book too. Is there something in your head that, because we all tell ourselves things what is the story we tell ourselves to get whatever done? When you're managing that discipline that you have, is there something that you tell yourself? Is there a trick to the discipline? Is there?
Well, when I used to, so the discipline really comes from dice shooting. Like,
I was looking for my son to take away. It's not. I wasn't thinking that's what's his way.
I'm gonna get to it though. It's like, so I used to practice the same shot over and over and over. It was no different than somebody being in their backyard going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and he hits the shot. I did that with dice, just over and over and over again. If I got on punishment, didn't matter. I would just practice more, whatever. And then it led to, obviously, I did the same thing in jump shooting. The discipline also comes within the willingness too, because you have to be willing to be disciplined or to discipline yourself, and then you just compound those habits.
Yeah.
And if you practice doing things the right way, they become routine.
Yeah. I love that. I was just thinking the words. Sometimes the words we tell ourselves help us. Like if I'm off track, like you say, off my square.
Yeah.
Sometimes, or if things are not going right, I'll tell myself, maybe you're doing it for yourself too much. Maybe how do you put it out? How do you put that energy outward? How do you serve? So I'll take it out of the ego, take it out of coming inside for me. Like something that I want that. I want that to be mine. I want to conquer that. And then it doesn't happen. Then what do you tell yourself to keep going? The thing sometimes I tell myself to keep going is it's not about you. Get out the way. Because you know what I mean?
Yeah,
to
mine
just keep it.
There's no room for complacency. I try not to ever get complacent. Ever.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Spiritual practices that you implement to kind of set the tone for your day?
No, I've been trying to meditate a little bit here and there. I did it a few times. It was actually good. No phone, no nothing, just no TV on or nothing, just for like 20 minutes to start the day. I've done that a few times. It was good.
Worked out okay?
It's just hard to do all the time. But it was good, though. It was good, yeah.
It was good.
I should try. I'm going to try it more often.
It's got to be good. There's nothing that bad that could come out of that.
No, I'm just saying, but there's something you do, like, there's like a word and you just, but it was good.
Oh my God, I don't know why I had this thought. Is CJ still here? Can I tell this story about us being at that house the other day and him telling us the thing that he gave you? You know what I'm talking about? Can I share that? It would be weird if you said no, right? I'm putting you on the spot. I took young CJ here. This is CJ Wallace. Christopher Wallace.
Oh, okay. Dope. What's up, CJ?
We're in Brooklyn, home. You know what I mean? BIG forever in Brooklyn. So we were having a conversation with somebody. And he was asking him about what he wanted to do. We were talking to Tracy Morgan because he's acting also. Oh, Tracy. CJ, he's actually a really good actor. Okay, good. But he has a lot of things he wants to do. So Tracy Morgan asked him, So what do you want to do? He's like, oh, I got this fashion and art. I'm doing art and I got the acting and you ran down like 10 things. Tracy, Tracy's crazy in a good way. He was like, you can't do all that shit. You got to do one thing and master that. And then you could go do whatever else you want to do. But what are you going to master? You got to pick the one thing to master it. And I don't know if you needed to hear that, but when he said it to you, it resonated for me. I was like, oh shit, that's actually really good.
That was also said to me.
Was it?
Yeah. This might have been.
Was it Tracy Morgan who said it to you?
It's Maverick. No, it was Maverick said it to me. Okay. It might have been 2006. He was like, bro, you good at you one person I know that's you good at literally good at everything.
Yeah.
But you got to pick one thing and you'll be great at that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we was doing our new offices in Cleveland or something, and we just, we talk all the time. We live together. We talk, even to this day, we talk all the time. But he said that to me. Because, I was coming in and used to hustling, so.
You're doing it all. Let me get all
Yeah, I mean, if you, why not?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, yeah, but be great at something. If you chose one thing, you would be great at it. That's what he said to me.
Ooh. Well, he was right.
And so I took that and, but again, you talk about having real friends, and it was his willingness to say it and my willingness to be open-minded and not so into myself to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the approach I took.
Well, you got greatness. And you were saying before you wanted to impact.
Yeah.
I feel like the book will impact. I feel the room was impacted today by
the room was great. Yeah.
For sure.
Great room.
Thank you guys so much for your energy, for your time. We appreciate you.
You have a Sharpie?
Ivy, you going to sign some books?
Yeah, I'm just going to sign it right here.
Really, guys, really beyond today, though, I really encourage you to take time. I know we all have busy lives, but don't just have the book on your shelf. Really read it. There's a lot of gems in there. There's a lot of takeaways. It's a beautiful story. And thank you, Rich, today so much for sharing yours. I appreciate it.
You know what? We actually could have done a podcast today. I think it would have been dope. Now I'm not afraid.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.